Hello my friends and welcome to the channel. I was thinking today I'm going to be doing a monthly reset, my very first monthly reset, and that's because I have lost all control over my reading and my writing and most of my videos because I've been so busy, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. Yeah, let's go. It's now the beginning of October and September have been a real roller coaster. Lots of ups, not so many downs actually, but just like a whirlwind of things. In September, I got to hold my book in my hands for the very first time, which was absolutely amazing. Look, it's so pretty. Love it. And I'm not longer scared that people I know are reading this, which is a huge step forward because I was a little bit angsty about people actually reading the book, which sounds weird because I want people to read it, but it was still a bit nervous. But most people have read it and they have been very kind about it. So it's been absolutely great. In September, I also started my new school, which is folk high school, we call it. I've mentioned it before on the channel, but I haven't really explained it, and I'm not going to now either because it's kind of difficult. But anyway, it's a creative writing course. It doesn't get you a degree or anything. It's just for your own development and your own writing. So I went there for the weekend and that was absolutely beautiful. The autumn here has been really wonderful. Lots of nice weather, lots of sun, golden trees and everything. Apart from today, it's a big storm, so I'm not going to be outside and film anything today. And then finally, in September, I went to the book fair. And Sweden is a very small country, so I think we have a few book fairs in different cities. But if you talk about the book fair, you mean the one in Gothenburg, the biggest one, 90,000 people crammed into one space. It is kind of weird because everyone there loves books, obviously, but still we choose to be in this very loud, very lots of things to look at, lots of people, lots of noises, lots of everything, when really we want to be home and read a book in silence. And that's weird, but it was fun. I felt a little bit overwhelmed. I was there last year for the first time, and last year I was just like, wow, everything's so cool. Look at all these books, look at all these publishing houses. Wow, I wish I had a book out so I could like look at my own book and be proud of that and be a part of that. And this year, that's what happened. I had my book there, but I still felt like I should have been doing more. I should do more things. My book needs to sell more. And it was just a little bit disheartening. I don't know why, because I should be proud and I am really proud, but it's just the fact that it's not, nothing is ever like good enough in the creative business. You can always be more, you can always do more, you can always have more followers and more readers. But that's not the point of the whole thing, is it? The whole thing, the whole point of the thing is the community and the sense of community. And in the evening on the Saturday of the book fair, I went to a big party with all the authors that are on my publishing house. So maybe 10 or 15 of them. And we all got to be on stage and have our own little time on stage. We got to be interviewed. I read a bit from my book and I also sang a few songs. And that was great. And just to be able to be a part of that and meet people and not think about, oh, how should I sell more books, and just be in a community where we all wanted the same thing and we all worked together to make this evening as special as possible. And I don't think anyone thought of how to sell more books. We were just there, we were just present, and that was absolutely wonderful. Which brings me to my writing update section of this video. And I have been writing quite a lot on my new novel. I call it Project Fire Night. It's a like working class fantasy about a folk magic school. is set in the north of Sweden. It's lots of dragons, lots of magical books and magical creatures and everything. It's going to be great. That's saying a bit much, isn't it? It's going to be a book. If it's great, I don't know. I've lost all sense of if it's good or not. But it's coming along. I've written maybe 60,000 words or so. So I've got maybe 30,000 more to write, and it's going forward. It's moving forward. But I am struggling with the creative output in writing and have enough creative output for that while still doing YouTube and BookTube and Authortube. And I think you know this if you're a creative person as well and you have other things to do apart from making videos. It is hard. And I am neurodivergent. I've got ADHD and autism. So my cup is very empty most of the time, to be honest. So I might not update so much in the future, maybe every second week. I don't know. But I just want to take the pressure off from making videos so I can focus on my writing, because that is the most important thing. And I mean, YouTube is fun and it should be fun and not a chore. And with that, let's talk about what I read this month. I read 12 books this month, but some of them were novels. Novels. In Swedish, short stories are called noveller, novels. So that it's kind of a false friend. So if I'm talking about novels, sometimes I mean short stories. It's weird, but like these very little books with just one short story in them. So it's not like 12 books, but it's still 12. I read this classic, Edgar Allan Poe. I read Colin Tidbeck's Luciferda. You can read it in English as well, I think. Colin writes in English most of the time and then translates it into Swedish. I love Colin Tidbeck. They are absolutely amazing. John Ajvide Lindqvist, Sweden's answer to Stephen King. I really like this. I love most things that he's written, but not all of them, and we'll get to that later. And a Stephen King short story. And all of these were very good for me to read because I am working on a short story, or I want to be working on a short story. It's a little bit horror. So it was good to read these just to get into the short story horror novel, the short story writing horror again. Oh, God. I write in Swedish, okay. I've read by Sara Bergmark Elfgren, and she's the writer that wrote the Engelfors trilogy together with Mats Strandberg. She's a Swedish writer, but she's been translated. Is island in Swedish, and it was not as good as her other books. I think it didn't have any magic or anything in it. It was mostly a thriller story. It was not bad, but it's not what I want from Saga. But I like that she's trying to branch out and try different things. I finally got around to read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And yeah, that was cool. That was a nice little story. It was just what I needed at the moment. It's not like a mind-blowing story, but it was cute and warm and cozy, and I loved it. I also read Reaperman by Terry Pratchett. I love to read me some Terry Pratchett to just get into the funny fantasy writing. And I mean, the death character is one of my favorite characters of all times. I also read Wooing the Witch Queen by Stephanie Burgess. It was good. It was a little bit queer. The Witch Queen herself is bisexual, which I thought was a nice touch. However, the main love story is hetero, but the main hero, the love interest of the story, is like a very non-macho librarian type. So I thought that was a nice touch. It was funny, it was good. It reminded me a little bit of Assistant to the Villain series. I also found and read, I have this here, Night Film by Marissa Pessel. I found it in a secondhand bookstore for like almost next to nothing, and I absolutely loved her first book, Calamity Physics book. You know which one I mean. So I had very high hopes for this. It wasn't as good or mind-blowing, but it was still exciting and funny, and I love when they have like a bit of mixed media type thing in it. So these are like web pages that they just inserted into the story. I love that. I was also given this, The Daughter of the Midnight Sun by Amanda Hellberg, and it claims to be the first Swedish romantasy, which is not, but it's the first Swedish romantasy that comes out on a big publishing house. Sadly enough, I didn't like it very much. I thought it read as a young adult fantasy book, but it wasn't. But the kind of shallow characters and the first like 3 chapters is just like her telling us and explaining how the world works. Like the first scene is the main character wakes up in the middle of the night and thinks about how her world works, which is a little bit lazy writing, because honestly, who does that? So I will probably, it's a trilogy, I will probably read it next to at some point to see if she like gets better, but I'm not gonna like chase it down. And I also finally got into audiobooks. I've been trying to get into audiobooks for so long, but I have a bit of a delayed audio processing abilities, so sometimes I just can't listen and understand what's happening. And I also get very annoyed with certain voice actors. I just like, I think they're very silly. But I read Anden i maskinen by John Ajvide Lindqvist, and he is reading them himself, and I really love his voice. I've read, this is the 3rd book in the like Millennium Ripoff series. So I read the first 2, which I think was good, because then I could get into the story without wondering what who the characters were, and that made it easy to understand. So I listened to that, and I started over and listened. Now I'm listening to the first book in this series, and I think maybe after this I will branch out from John Ajvide Lindqvist, and maybe I will listen to a Mats Strandberg book, because he's like, if John Ajvide Lindqvist is like the Stephen King of Sweden, I think Mats Strandberg is not that far behind. It's kind of similar writing, and I think that would be a good next step for my audiobook quest. Which brings me to my last book, Svinen, the pigs, the swines, or something like that, by John Ajvide Lindqvist. I have like a big John Ajvide Lindqvist theme this month, life. I love him. And this is like a body horror comedy book. It's quite short. It's about a like functional music band. Then they get kidnapped by 2 pig farmers, and then it's disgusting. So don't read it while you're eating. It's something completely different from everything that John Ajvide Lindqvist's ever done. And I thought it was I just appreciate that he knows that we as an audience, we want something cozy and like Stephen Kingy, and he's like, I'm gonna do whatever I want, and I'm gonna just write whatever I want. So I appreciated it, but it's not my favorite book by him. So I think that was all of the books I've read this month. Are you still with me? This turned into quite a long video, and I'm gonna do minimum amounts of editing for it because I just don't have the time. So sorry if it drags on, but I really want to finish this video by thanking everyone who has interacted with this channel over the last month, or well, since I started it in May. It makes a huge difference when you comment on my videos, and I know you know that because most of you are YouTubers as well. And I have not really had the time or headspace to watch any of your videos this month because I've just been so busy. But some of your videos are on my to watch list, and I will get around to it shortly. But I just want to thank you. And here's a little shout out to everyone who has interacted with my channel the last month. Heroic Book Adventure 83, of course, you're amazing. Emma Bennett, author. Mateo Leon Rodriguez, author. Kevin Tower reads. Too Much Tudor, very interesting channel, by the way. You should check them out. Jen Books and Matcha. Jeff's Cave of Cool Books, and Coffee Cups and Books, of course. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much. And also, thank you if you watched this far. Thank you. And I will see you next week. I think there will be the Ultimate Donkey Book Club video next week. So don't miss out on that. Bye.